What's up everybody, it's Conger Live. We're back again with another TMNT Mutant Madness video. In today's video, we're going to go over the actual power mutation characters, since they made that mistake, and let you know another quick little tip or really news item that's coming up. If you're new to the channel, did you kick that subscribe button? Don't forget to ring that bell for more TMNT Mutant Madness content. With that, let's go get into it. Okay, so we're on the official Discord, and they basically deleted the last communication of the upcoming Dimension Clash bonus because they made the mistake. We have the new event starting 26th, ending December 10th, and that is Galactic War Dregg. So if you haven't been spending your bits, you've been saving up, this is a character worth saving for. Dregg is amazing, especially in Channel 6. He's very, very clutch with the way his kit works, so we'll take a look at his kit. And the actual characters that are on Mutation this week are actually Dirk, Savage, Fugitoid, and Lotus. Now, I don't actually have Dirk, Savage, or Fugitoid. We can take a look at their kits very briefly, as well as the kit for Lotus. And the last piece of news is that the 3x Offerwall event starts on Thursday the 25th. And then ends on Monday the 29th. So most Offerwall events are just over the weekend. This is actually a longer event, so you got plenty of time to start these offers. You only get 30 days to complete them if you want 3 times the gems. I've never seen more than 3 times gems for these Offerwalls. One thing that keep in mind is that these offers are part of a third-party program, and there are ways to lose out on your free gems, so make sure you read the conditions very clearly on any of the gem offers you start to make sure that you're doing it correctly so you don't get denied your prizes. That's about it for that. So let's go take a look at the kits, starting with Dregg, and then we'll look at the mutation characters. Okay, let's look first at the event hero that we're going to be being able to open up drives for is Dregg. I really like Dregg. I think he's amazing. He's super clutch in Channel 6. His first skill, Brain Drain, select an enemy at range 3, deal a bunch of energy damage, and inflict negative 60 focus, negative 40 strength, and will. So that's also negative 40 will for 8 seconds. Really slows down the enemy that he targets. He deals extra damage and inflicts negative 40 extra focus, strength, and will to stunned or rooted targets. So if you can partner him up with someone who stuns or roots, like Metalhead and April and Toka, and there's others, gains defense, gain 40 focus and 20 will for 8 seconds. So can really debilitate the enemy while also giving himself a huge boost. Really, really cool ultimate. Really like this. One of the most amazing ones in the game in my opinion. Really, really cool. His first auto skill is called an Enhancement Ray. Targets the lowest health ally, helping to keep his teammates alive. That support role. Give 25 armor, barrier strength, and focus. A lot of great stats for 6 seconds. And he gives 25 extra armor, barrier strength, and focus to targets under 50 health. So he's targeting the lowest health ally. Chances are they're going to be close to under 50 already by the time he does this. Maybe not the first couple times, but giving plus 50 of all these stats really, really helps your teammates to stay in the fight and do some extra damage. His first passive is Master Manipulator. Whenever an enemy uses a skill, inflict them with negative 3 alertness for 10 seconds. So this is going to stack, and if not stunned or silenced, of course the conditional there, but he also inflicts negative 2 strength and focus for 20 seconds if they are at or under negative 10 alertness. So if you can partner him with someone who also strips alertness, pretty sure that April does that, there's a couple other characters that do that as well, then he's going to be able to really slow the enemy down, which is really, really big. And then his Galactic Conqueror, his other passive, he gives +1 strength and focus per will to all other allies within range 3 if he's not stunned or silenced. And since he gets a lot of will from his ult, this can really give the whole team a huge boost. Nice support role there. And after an ally is knocked out, he gains a bunch of defense and 15 will for 10 seconds. So that will bonus will then increase the amount of strength and focus he gives to the other teammates that are still alive, and it'll also get his skills off faster, which is why Dregg can really go into what we like to call Super Saiyan mode as his friends start dropping. And his final auto skill is Pulse Wave, where he targets all enemies in a line at range 5, deals a decent amount of energy damage, and inflicts negative 20 strength and focus for 5 seconds, reducing of course the amount of damage those enemies do. And any allies in that line, he gives them defense and plus 20 strength and focus for 5 seconds, giving them some more survivability and more damage output. Lastly, his equipment skill, he gains 45 barrier all the time, which is going to help protect him against any of those blaster characters. And at the start of combat, he gains that 15 will for 6 seconds, which is going to trigger one of his passives and help him trigger his auto skills and his ultimate much quicker in the beginning of the fight, just making him all around a really good character. So if you are going to be thinking about going for Dregg, I think he's a great character to go for during the hero event. So now we're going to take a look at the heroes that are actually on Mutation this week. We got bad news earlier, so the previous video, that's probably the correct date for next week. The devs didn't answer my question yet to clarify, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So we're going to take a look at Dirk Savage first. Now I don't have Dirk or Fugitoid, so we're going to look at those down here. Dirk's Laser Trap, he targets an enemy at range 3, deals energy damage, inflicts Root for 5 seconds. So Root there, that would partner with Dregg, although Dregg's not on Mutation, Dirk is. But decent, and he inflicts stun for 3 seconds if the target is stunned. Wait, inflicts stun to 3 seconds if the target is stunned? He's adding stun? Does it compound? Does it add 3 extra seconds, or does it just start a new 3 seconds? That's kind of what I'm assuming, but anyways, he's extending the stun. Pretty cool. He does the same for disarm, silence, and slow. So he's just continuing any negative status effects that are on the enemy with his alt Laser Trap. Really, really cool. And he inflicts -1 haste per haste the enemy has for 5 seconds. So basically, they're not going to get any basic attacks off because their haste now goes to 0 effectively with this. And their Laser Tethers at target an enemy at range 3, deals energy damage, inflicts -50 strength and disarm, and root for 4 seconds. So he's going to be able to extend this with his ult. This is going to go off automatically, reducing the amount of damage that they put out, keeping them kind of stuck where they're at, and he's going to inflict -100 extra strength and 150 focus for 4 seconds to targets without defense. So as the battle continues and the characters are starting to die, this is like a win more skill. If they don't have any defense, he's really going to debilitate them with his Laser Tethers. Dead or alive, he gained 25 armor, haste, and focus per enemy within range 3 that is stunned, disarmed, rooted, slowed, or silenced. So having other characters that stun, disarm, root, slow, and silence with Dirk is going to help him stay alive and do more damage with this skill. And when he attacks, he gains defense if the target is stunned, disarmed, rooted, slowed, or silenced. So the more you can do, that's great. I see this working really well where if he has Metal Ted on his team, obviously Fugitoid is going to be good because of the blaster focus. Maybe a Shredder in there, April, your fifth, pick your choice, but definitely a lot of cool stuff to do there with Dirk. His spread shots when attacking, he inflicts -8 defense and deals 8 damage to enemies at range 2 and within range 1 of the target. So it's kind of like some splash damage there. And he inflicts -3 barrier for 30 seconds to all targets. I'm pretty sure this means all targets hit, but it could be all targets in general when he's attacking. But I mean, I think that's the main target plus anyone at range 2 within range 1 of the target are the targets that are affected by this -3 barrier. But since he does blaster damage, this barrier for 30 seconds will stack and he will just continue to debilitate his enemies. I really see Dirk working really well with Metalhead and any other stunning and focus characters. Target an enemy at range 3 for his double tap and another enemy at range 1 of them and deals 35 energy damage, which of course scales with your turtle power to each target. He deals extra damage per status among stunned, rooted, slowed, disarmed, and silenced affecting the target. So if the target has stunned, rooted, slowed, disarmed, and silenced, all 5, he's going to deal that 12 extra, which is expanded 5 times. That becomes 60. So he's going to be doing almost double the extra amount of extra damage than the base damage of the skill. Could be really, really insane if you can stack all of these effects. So you want to think about maybe pairing him with people that not just stun, but also do the slow, the root, the disarm, the silence. Wow, pretty crazy stuff there. Finally, we got to take a look at his equipment skill. His laser shotgun, he gains 30 focus, and all stunned, rooted, or slowed enemies get negative 30 armor and barrier. So being that he really benefits from the stun, root, slow enemies, and stun is an amazing effect in this game, it's going to make it to where the people who get stunned are just going to get melted even faster. So that's pretty cool for Dirk Savage. Next up on Mutation is Fugitoid, and Fugitoid's special is Hypercharge. He gives an ally, select an ally, give defense and 150 haste for 4 seconds. That haste is really going to help that ally be able to get more skills off. He also gives 75 focus for 4 seconds at level 75, and at 175 he gives extra defense and 75% stun resistance for 4 seconds to targets under 50 health. This is huge. 75% stun resistance. I think that is the largest amount of stun resistance in the game. I don't think anyone else gives that much or has that much stun resistance. So this makes this skill very, very, very useful. And since it says select an ally, not another ally, he could target himself with this. This is something you would probably want to control on manual, as opposed to letting RNG control that ultimate for you. His arm cannon, his first auto skill, he targets all enemies in a line at range 4, deals a bunch of energy damage over 2 hits. He deals extra damage per haste, armor, or barrier per hit. That's going to be his own haste, armor, or barrier. So anything you can do to boost those is going to help him do some more damage. Of course, he's a support primarily, not a damage dealer, so that's just okay. His Sal, which is his robot body, first passive is gain 50 armor, and when attacking, deal extra damage to targets under 20 barrier. After attacking, gain 2 will for 10 seconds if under 40 will. So he's going to be able to get himself up to at least a 40 will threshold pretty quickly, pretty easily, off just his basic attacks, which will help him get that special and those other auto skills off. His Scientific Pursuits passive, after using a skill, he gives defense to all allies if his will is at or above 0, and all allies with defense gain 40 haste. So early on, while everybody has defense, or most likely going to have some defense, they're going to get that haste, which is going to get some more basic attacks, of course, getting more meter for that ultimate. All allies with defense gain 40 barrier and focus. Another great thing for the early on part of the battle, when we know there's usually a lot of defense being given out early on, that's going to really help your guys stay alive and do more damage, especially those blasters. Finally, his auto skill Fusion Shields, he targets all allies, gives defense and barrier, 50 barrier, for 10 seconds. He deals energy damage to all enemies at range 1 of an ally, because they're all allies. So this Fusion Shields, I think this is that dome looking shield that he gets out there. So if they're standing next to one of his allies, they're going to be taking some damage. And he gives extra defense and deals extra damage to each target per ally at range 1 of them when you get him to 250. So if you get him up to 250, which is a decent amount of ooze, he's just going to do some more damage. Once again, Fugitoid's main purpose, I don't think, is as a damage dealer. It's about buffing your teammates, especially your blasters. So I think he's going to work really, really well with Dirk. I think other blasters he's going to work really well with are going to be like Tempestra and Dregg. You know, April being another support. We'll get some benefit out of it, but she's also not a damage dealer. Finally, his equipment skill. At the start of combat, he gains some defense, and all allies at range 2 get 30 haste and 15 focus. So you're going to get a nice amount of damage boost at the beginning, plus he has that defense to trigger some of those skills where he likes having defense. Finally, on Mutation this week is Lotus. Okay, Lotus has her smoke escape for her ult, where she gains a bunch of defense, target all enemies at range 1, inflicts slow and negative 100 alertness, and haste for 4 seconds. Then selects an enemy at range 4, moves next to them, and deals a nice amount of damage. Okay, so moving the alertness, they're not going to get any defense for 4 seconds most likely, and that haste slowing them down. She's like, yeah, poof, I'm out. Pretty cool there. And then her disarming blows auto. She targets an enemy at range 1, deals a decent amount of physical damage over 2 hits, inflicts negative 75 strength, and disarm for 3 seconds. So that disarm is really, really nice. Going to partner really well with Dirk this week. inflicts negative 50 strength for 6 seconds to targets at or above 50 strength. So this is going to kind of balance out that strength. I'm not sure how often this is going to trigger because they need to be at or above 50 strength, and there's already some other negative effects coming out there with some of the other characters we've looked at. But it's nice to kind of level the playing field. Her first passive, Ninja for Hire, when attacking, inflict negative defense. Not a lot, but it's a bit. It's on a basic attack, so she's going to do this often, strip that defense. And after attacking, she's going to gain half of that defense for herself. It's almost like a vampiric stripe, so to speak. And she's going to gain extra defense and plus 10 haste for 10 seconds if the target is disarmed or stunned, and gains 5 alertness for 10 seconds if she's under 50 alertness. So this is going to help her maintain her defense gain and be able to attack more quickly. She does some disarm, and then there's that stunned effect, right? So she's going to work really well with Dirk and anyone else who stuns, like April, Metalhead, and disarms, Shredder. Right? So those are going to be some characters to look at using with Lotus this week. Her other passive, Subtle Flower, whenever an ally is attacked, inflict negative 3 alertness to the attacker for 9 seconds. Inflict negative 5 extra alertness if the ally has defense. All allies gain plus 30 haste and plus 5 will per enemy under 0 alertness. So she's going to help strip that alertness. And I think it was Dirk, or maybe it was Fugitoid, that also liked the enemy to not have alertness. So these characters are definitely going to be working hand in hand together. If you have all 3 of them, that's going to be really, really useful for you. Of course, she does physical damage as opposed to the other 2 doing blaster damage, so she's not going to benefit as much from Fugitoid, but she definitely has some stuff in her kit that's going to help Dirk out a lot. Finally, her Petal Burst, target a tile at range 3 and all enemies within range 1 of it deal negative defense, quite a bit of negative defense, basically stripping all of their defense to that group of enemies, and negative 100 focus for 4 seconds. She's going to inflict stun for 1 second to targets under 20 alertness. So she's stripping a lot of alertness. Chances are she's going to get that 1 second stun in. She's going to strip all that defense away. Lotus is almost like an anti-Fugitoid, the way I'm reading this. Maybe that's why she's put in there. You might hear my son crying, but that's okay. Please ignore that. Finally, at 250, she inflicts stun for an extra second and negative 150 armor for 2 seconds to the targets under 20 alertness. Under negative 20 alertness, that is. So, pretty cool there. One last thing, we definitely want to take a look at her equipment skill. Her Lotus Guard Sword, she gains 45% resistance to silence. Now, that skill is not so great. Not a lot of silence users out there. Also, all the characters we looked at so far for this mutation, none of them actually silence. I think Tempestra has a silence, Skarg has a silence, Rock and Raph has a silence. I think there's one more character that might have a silence, but it's not very common. So it's great to have 45% resistance to silence, but not enough people do it. Maybe they'll be adding more silence in the future, we'll see. But it's nice that she gains 45 strength and armor while she's not stunned, rooted, or slowed. Of course, there are a lot of stuns happening in the meta right now with Metalhead and of course with the mutation this week. So as long as she can stay unstunned, she's going to do a little extra damage with this. Not the most amazing equipment skill, but it's going to help her out. So that's it for all the characters that are on mutation this week for the hero event that's coming up. Don't forget that we have the 3x free gem offer wall event happening this weekend. So if you want a chance to earn some extra gems, make sure that you go to the shop and scroll down in the offers where it says free gems, and then you can start looking at whatever gem offers you might have. Gem offers are regional, so some places in the world unfortunately just don't get any offers. Some offers are just not good for some people. That's just the way it is. The Mutant Madness Congregate doesn't control this. It is a third party controlled, so it is what it is. If you got some great offers, take advantage. If not, sorry to hear it. I've probably used up most of really good ones, and some of the ones that usually get shown to me, I don't want anything to do with. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to ninja kick that like button and subscribe for more TMNT Mutant Madness content. Let's all game smarter together, and we'll see you in the next video.
Power!